Good morning, it's Jnwynn with Scraptastic Yarns Podcast. Apparently my bra wants to show itself again today. Today is Thursday, October the 17th? 18th. It's the 18th. I wouldn't pass one of those Medicare tests if you had to go by the date. I don't know how many of you do that, but I don't pay attention to dates, as we can tell from earlier this week. Hold on a second, I've got to answer the door. Not only answer the door, but I had to have a sneezing fit. Today, the Create series comes out this afternoon. As long as the upload of the filming goes correct. I had some issues. The other day I had noticed, the other evening, I was watching some YouTube videos and then all of a sudden I got these errors. Apparently YouTube went down for a little bit. I didn't know anything about it. I didn't receive any messages that they were going to be doing any maintenance work or they were going to be down at all. And I was trying to upload the Create. So when I got to looking at it, it didn't upload correctly, so I took it back down, and now I'm going to be working on re-uploading it. It just seems like there are certain days things go wacky when you're trying to film or upload or whatever. When you do a podcast or you do any tutorials, you just kind of got to roll with the punches on those. Stuff happens. I had noticed this morning when I got up, my hands are achy, feel real stiff, feel puffy. Generally for me that means a mild fibromyalgia flare-up. I'm hoping that that's all that is. I'm hoping that it's just the weather. Sometimes the weather makes me old and cranky and all kinds of things. I wanted to show you my friend that I made the Eeyore for. She was at our local grocery store, and they had these in orange and purple. I took the purple. She knows I love sugar skulls. Not only that, but yesterday was her birthday. So happy birthday, Georgie. But she brought cupcakes that had pirate rings on them and little sugar skulls on them. So I will insert a picture of that at the very end. And yeah, we had a little bit of fun yesterday. Did a lot of talking and everything. Today, this afternoon, one of the gals that I exercise on Mondays and Wednesdays with is going to teach us how to play pinochle. Now, I've played hearts, I've played spades, without the bower. And pinochle is a lot like hearts. But you have to remember which, the meld and all this other stuff. But she's going to teach us how to play pinochle. So that should be interesting. Today in the mail, or yesterday, I did get this. This is by the Sheba Guys, by Shannon and Jason Mullet Bowlesby brothers. And it's a real nice course. A lot of it I already know. There are a couple of things that are new to me. Some new joins, some new techniques. It's not quite exactly what I thought it would be, but it is very informational, and it's a great reference book to have on hand. He does have a couple of projects. They do have a couple of projects that you can work on at the very end. And some of them are, quite unique. They have a couple of nice sweaters and things like that. Teaches you some different methods for buttonholes, those kind of things. And this is one of the patterns, and it's a very nice cardigan. Of course, it only goes up to 2X. I need 3X. But I do know how to do the math and make it go up to the size I need. So I'm okay with that. But it's a real nice, pretty cardigan. I kind of like the looks of that one. Very nice, simple. So I may wind up working with that. Messing with it. They do have some blankets in here. They have a rectangle wrap vest. That's very pretty. And then, of course, each project builds upon one skill to another one. They have this nice, beautiful signature vest, and that's gorgeous. Using some lace panels in there. And then they get up, they do some more work, cables, those kind of things. And just very nice, beautiful work in here. It is a lot of information. I kind of glanced through it. Like I said, it's a very good reference book to have on your shelf. I know that there are some of you that don't read patterns because you don't read very well, or because you've just never learned to read patterns, and that's absolutely fine. I have a woman that's crocheted. She was my husband's secretary at the university, and then she retired, and she was worried about not having enough things to fill her days, that she'd be stuck at home and bored. Well, she's busier than ever. I tease her because she has to pencil us in to her calendar book, and I mean, it's full. Day to day, 2 to 3 things a day. She's always moving around. She does not read patterns well, so we sat upon learning to read patterns, and sometimes, reading patterns is not all that easy. I grew up learning to read patterns because my mother taught me to read patterns. So it just comes, second nature, but every once in a while there's a pattern that just, you're like, what? Because there is no set way to write patterns, it makes it difficult. Sometimes when someone's trying to get across an idea for a pattern, how to do something, and it's not clicking. That's where many times if they will add a video to show you those things, it helps you. Some of us are more visual learners. I'm one of those. I'm visual and I can read and comprehend. Although when I was younger in school, I had problems with comprehension. I had a teacher that recognized that I had issues with that. She had me come up to school after hours, which was fine with my mother because my mother was the PTA president. She was working at the school and working with the secretary and those kind of things daily anyway. So I would stay a little bit after school and she would help me with my reading comprehension. So, sometimes we just need to practice. It's like learning to crochet. You can learn to crochet a chain and do the crochet, but until you keep practicing it and using those skills over and over, it's not going to stick in your head and click. Those are things, that we need to remember. I know Crystal of Bag O' Day Crochet for many years never learned to read a pattern. She recently has learned to read patterns. And she writes beautiful patterns. That is the funny thing. And that is the neat thing about crochet. Many times you can see something and you can make it crochet because you've seen an item, you know what you want. Crochet is a lot easier to add, decrease, create things by shape. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in the shaping with the Create. So, you have to excuse me. Allergies are really bad today. I hope you'll notice my lamp is sitting up straight. I did go over to the side, cleaned up quite a few of those whips. What I have done is I have put them in a clear tote, one after the other, so that I can see them, so they're not totally out of sight, out of mind, and I can continue to work on them. And when we got over there to the, we knew that it was leaning, and we thought it was another issue. The issue was the base that it sits on. It's circular. The base that it sits on is not really hard concrete, but it's a heavy material, and it had split totally. And the lamp was only on one half of those. So what we did is we kind of used our 86,000 glue to glue the base back together, put the lamp on there, but it was still, moving. So I have a bag of yarn that is my turkey hats, and it's a big bag. It is sitting on the base to hold it up straight. My husband went to go move it, and I said, don't move it. If you do that, the lamp will kill one or both of us as it, falls and kills us. The only thing that is really close to us is Walmart. We do have a big Ollie's now. I went and looked at Ollie's, and I looked at Walmart for floor lamps. Walmart has some real nice cheap ones, ranging anywhere from $7.47 to like $22. I don't like the looks of any of them. So this weekend we are going to go to Target, and we'll look at Target for different floor lamp. Now, we could absolutely order something off IKEA, but my husband would rather get something local first. So if we don't find something we like at Target, then yeah, we'll probably go to IKEA and order something. We do not have an IKEA store anywhere near us, so we can't go in and look, and that's something my husband likes to do. He likes to see it physically first. Just the nature. He is a little OCD. I tease him about that when we're getting groceries, like at Walmart. We'll be walking around. I'll put things in the cart. He doesn't like the way that I placed them, so he has to rearrange everything. And I just stop and let him rearrange. He doesn't like the way that I put things up on the conveyor belt, to be wrung out, so I let him do that. And the thing that drives him nuts is he lays it out in the order he wants it to go and to be bagged. And of course, cashiers are reaching over to get something here, instead of taking things off the conveyor belt. And it drives him batty. By the time we get out to the car, he's like, oh! I said, why don't you just tell him to take it in the order that you have it up there? If you tell a cashier that, most likely they'll follow that. If they don't, you don't go back to them. We do have one young lady at the Walmart where we do shop at on Saturdays in State College. She wasn't there this past weekend. So, but she'll put everything in the cart exactly the way you put it on the conveyor belt. She doesn't care. She doesn't do that pick and hunt method to see, and mainly because Thomas has told her, could you please just put them, in the bags, ring them up the order I have it, that I do put like things together, like all the cold stuff together, so you can ring that up. So, yeah, sometimes his OCD is worse than others. We tease about it because, my OCD is, did I forget to turn the light off? Did I forget to do this? So we have a joke that we, as we go, anytime we go to visit his mother, the first thing we do when we get in the car is run through, did we get this? Did we get, you know? And then as we're pulling out, it's, write a letter, check the stove, write a letter, check the stove. That's an old joke about OCD-ness. So, yeah, we both have a touch of it. My husband's is a little worse than mine. Mine is less because I realize there are things that are out of my control, and I just let it go. Don't worry about it. With the exception of yesterday at the laundromat. My husband last week had put a brand new pair of pants in to be washed. And he likes to have the sizing washed off of it because otherwise he breaks out from the sizing, which, some people it bothers, some it doesn't. So I washed them. I didn't bother to look at the pants because over the past year or so we've been noticing, like oil spots, drip spots on my clothes mostly. For some reason it hasn't hit his. I've done all kinds of research. For a while I was using the pods, and I realized, maybe that's where that grease is coming from, because the pods are a type of plastic oil that is soluble in water. Perhaps that's where it was coming from. I did a lot of online research, and there's a lot of complaints about people using pods and seeing those spots on clothes. So I quit using pods, went back to our normal liquid soap. I make sure when I put things in the dryer, before I put them in the washing machine dryer, I try to run my hands through it, divot it, spin to make sure there's nothing in there, that somebody else left. What I'm doing when I reach in to do this is to make sure there's no oil in them. This laundromat, where I grew up in New Mexico, there were a lot of oil riggers and mechanics that would go into laundromats to wash their clothes. And in those laundromats in New Mexico and in Texas, many of them, they would have several machines that were designated for greasy, oily, messy clothes only. They asked you to use those machines only so that you did not ruin other people's clothes. They don't do this at this laundromat. I've made that suggestion a couple times, and they have ignored it. This pair of pants was a $30 pair of pants, and it is one of those that is stain resistant. When he got it out the day before I normally wash, which was Tuesday, there was an oil spot on the side of his pants like this, and it looked like machine oil. You can kind of tell whether it's machine oil or if it's a motorized oil, dark, but it looked like it was a light machine oil, which many times, if you're using in your own laundry, if you see that happening, there's a couple things that could be happening. You need to run just a cycle hot water with Clorox and vinegar through it to clean it out. Many times that'll fix it, but sometimes it means the bearings are going bad on the machine. So his first thought was, well, there's a problem with that, and he thought, $30 pair of pants ruined? Like I said, I have had many clothes that have been ruined, at the laundromat. There isn't a whole lot that you can do about it, because they always say that they don't, they're not responsible for damages. Check the machines, because they're not responsible. He said, no, they're responsible. Talk to a lawyer. Lawyer said, if you're noticing this and you have the evidence, which I had thrown all my t-shirts and things over into pile to be cut up to make crochet rugs with the stretch material. Took them in to the lawyer. He looked at the pants, took pictures. He said, no, this is a problem. Laundromats are responsible regardless of what they think. They can put that up all they want, but when there's clear damage, something needs to be done. We treated it in hopes that it would come out Most of it has come out. There's a little funny spot on it. I told my husband, I said, that's it. I'm going to use just the liquid soap that we normally use. Put a couple of squirts of Dawn dishwashing in with it. I don't care if it ruins their machines. That's not my problem anymore. And vinegar to help soften up the water, and then just a piece of aluminum balled up to help fight off the static electricity in the dryer. I quit using dryer sheets because from what I understand with the dryer sheets, when you put them in on the dryer, you need to put them on top so they're not trapped in, because many times you can get spots from dryer sheets. The reason we use the dryer sheets is to help, combat the static. So, anyway, they did call because I filed a complaint with the gal. They did call. I did tell them that most of it is out, although not all of it is out. She was very apologetic. I had also done some research to see if it was that brand of commercial washer that has issues. Yes, they do. Did find that out, and she very graciously gave me the amount of the pants, $30, in free wash and dry there, which is about all that, the manager of that store is willing to do. And we sat and we talked yesterday afternoon for a couple of minutes, and I told her about the thing. She said, now explain that to me. And I told her, and she goes, well, we can't enforce that. I said, I know you can't. However, most of the gentlemen that come in to wash those clothes, if they see there is a designated washer, and it's very well labeled, many of them will honor that, because when they bring their regular clothes in, they don't want those to get messed up. I said, you do have a problem with girls that you hire that wash clothes, because they will use any and every machine they want to, so they have to use those machines as well, or they need to have one that is designated that they use only for that. I said, we know that you don't clean them out each week on a regular basis, by running hot water, Clorox, and vinegar through it, just by itself, to help clean out whatever's in the machine. She goes, yeah, that's true, we don't. We just can't do that. I said, I realize that. I said, however, this is one way you can help combat those problems. So, I don't know if she's going to do it, but she sounded like she was thinking about it, because, with the oil and the gas companies here in Pennsylvania doing a lot of work, at one time there was even more problems with that. Like I said, I've noticed it since they've started that with the Marcellus shell. So perhaps that's the problem. Perhaps it was what I was doing when I was drying clothes. I don't know. But I've researched it to the end. And, there's not a whole lot I can do. And like I said, I counted about 12 shirts. And those are the ones that I haven't already thrown out. Those were the ones I just threw over in a pile to be cut up. So, unfortunately, I don't have an option. I have to use the laundromat. We don't have washer and dryer here. So, sometimes you have to take your complaints to the person that can do something. And that's basically what I had done. Although yesterday I was a little hot under the collar with the attendant there. So I did go back later on the way home. I stopped in and I apologized to her because, yeah, I can be kind of ugly when I want to be. And I apologized to her. I said, I know it's not your problem. It's just, this has been happening. I've had clothes run, because of this issue. And it seems like no one wants to fix the issue. So, did have a good talk with the owner of the laundromats. She did make it sound like she's interested in fixing the problem or trying to do something to help fix it. and we'll see. So anyway, I'm going to go. This is it. It's been a long enough one, chatting about nothing. So, not anything crochet really, except the book. So, I will see you a little bit later with the Create series today, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Everybody have a great day, and do better than I did yesterday. Choose to be kind.